The concept of bots in an automation sense, we got when we partnered with Ivanti and implemented the whole digital experience platform for neurons. An example of a bot that we deemed really useful and would really add value was the battery health of our laptops. We run a bot that scans the laptop, reports on its battery health, and if the battery health is under 60%, it sends an alert to the service desk, generates a ticket. The level 1 team will then order a battery replacement. That will come in, and the first time the lawyer gets to know of the fact that we're even going to do something to address the issue is when the replacement battery has already arrived. We'll then contact the lawyer to say, look, a bit of proactive approach to the support. We're going to replace your laptop battery. They're kind of surprised because they didn't even know that their battery health was sort of starting to flag. And then we just book an appointment with them at their convenience for them just to pop up and have the battery replaced. That's been a good example of some proactive support that we're able to do with the use of automation bots. We'd already been quite successful using Neurons as a tool for service management and getting some really useful information and some key metrics around our laptop fleet, for example, and also the types of calls that we were getting in. We then undertook a bots workshop where we made the key decision to get people in the room that were the decision makers, but also the people that were actually going to build the bots. The people that were building the bots sort of got excited because they realised, I do task A, I could automate that. Task B, I could automate that. This would mean we don't have to remote into users' machines. One of the things that we do get is that remote control anxiety because of the time it takes, because of the fact that they have maybe pieces of sensitive information open on their screens that are not to be read by people that aren't working on particular pieces of work, for example. So that sort of started a bit of an excitement in the room of people realising we can save time. And with a law firm, time is the big key factor. Lawyers, fee earners, as we call them, bill in roughly 6-minute increments. So they have to really account for those sort of periods of time. So anything that's going to save time is a benefit to the firm. And one of the things that we realised as IT, we could sort of help facilitate that and reduce that need for the interaction or the time taken of an interaction with IT to sort of eat into those sort of 6-minute billing increments. So that's the sort of the key driver, I think, that got people excited about using bots. We did some analysis on our sort of what are our key repetitive calls to the service desk. That was based on analysis of our tickets from Ivanti ISM. It was also just knowledge of the support staff of what they keep getting asked to do, especially with things like walk-ups or, passing water cooler conversations. And we very quickly identified our key, say, probably top 10. We started simple, didn't try and change the world, just tried to cut that task out of our list of manual things that we do. Replace that, do the next one, incorporate that one with that one. It was a real sort of organic process, really, and that led to other people within the IT teams seeing certain people create bots, asking what that was all about, and then asking if they could potentially get access to also create bots because they could see some value in automating some of their tasks, especially the third level infrastructure teams with some of the server tasks that they do. that would also be beneficial to do that via a bot rather than remoting into to each server. So over the period of, I suppose, sort of 12 to 18 months, that's grown into the 150 sort of bots that we have today. One of the really interesting and surprising automation bots that we created is around Outlook profiles. Lawyers, they keep everything, and their mail file sizes grow well over 50 gig. And because of that, there's performance issues. They start calling the service desk. We try and get them to delete email. They don't want to delete email. So we've come up with a bot that will automatically alert us when we are getting to a certain size, and also will have the ability of removing things like deleted items. It will automatically recreate the user's profile, but do it at a time out of business hours. And then by the time they sort of get back to going onto their email, a whole new OST's been created, it's been reduced in file size, and they're none the wiser. One of the things we have noticed since the introduction of bots is a reduction in the amount of time taken to resolve issues. Typically, previously, someone has an issue with their laptop, they'll try a few things, they'll call the service desk will then ask for permission to remote in, confirm what they're being told is correct, try a few things themselves, and then take the necessary steps to fix the issue. One of the things with bots, no remote control required. We can run those seamlessly while the fee earner is essentially still working, especially around things like add-ins where you have to go and select each add-in, enable. You can build all that within the same bot, and it can say, is this add-in disabled? Yes, enable it. No, leave it alone. So we can do a number of tasks within the same bot and thus just reduce the amount of time. Given the fact that fee earners bill in 6-minute increments, you could have a user experience previously where they could be on the phone for 3 or 4 of those billing increments. By the use of bots, we've been able to reduce the amount of billing increments it takes. Also, it means the fee earner's not having to shut sensitive documents ahead of the IT support person remoting in, so that saves even more time, and just provides a much more seamless experience. So we've noticed when you look at our IVR call data, the length of time of calls is shorter than it was previously, thus obviously saving on those sort of the time taken for the fee earner to produce those billable hours that are required as part of their own KPIs. One of the benefits of using automation bots in Neurons is they're immediate. As soon as you trigger one, it will run straight away, unless of course you build a bot to deliberately put a delay in for some reason. That's been really beneficial because it means immediate support, an immediate fix, not having to, okay, can you give it 10 minutes, try again? We can see the results immediately by running a bot. So that way, once again, shortens the support time, gives a better user experience, and essentially gets better feedback from the fee earners back to the service desk. So as well as impacting the users and giving a better user experience, we've also had an impact on the service desk. And one of the things we've noticed is a massive reduction in the number of incidents. We would get roughly 200 tickets per day, and I would say at least 80% of those now are service requests. We had one day, I looked at one day's data, and only 9 of our 204, I think it was, tickets were actual incidents. Everything else was service requests, matter access, and sort of some of our standard security tickets that would come through, some alerting, that sort of thing. So we've really noticed that shift away from incidents to more service requests is a big thing. through the use of our automation bots. With the shift towards more service requests, it's given us the option to adopt more of that shift left approach, meaning some of the tasks that were more third level have now come to our desktop support team. Some of the desktop support team repetitive tasks that we deemed a little complex for our level 1 team have now moved to level 1, and it means that the IT team generally are getting more exposure to more project-based work, participating in pilots, testing, and getting involved in some of the more meatier stuff. And that enables us to sort of scope out who in the team are the natural people that will sort of progress through from your level 1 to your level 2 to your level 3, because we definitely believe in keeping staff. Staff retention's a big thing at Gilbert+Tobin. We really want to create opportunities for people. So it's giving the team a lot more exposure to things and making the jobs a bit more varied and interesting for them, really. So one of the things with our level 1 team, we've just recently gone through our goal setting for the year. All of them have identified that they would like to get exposure to not just using bots, which they're currently doing, but actually to be able to build bots. And that's a sign that, you know, they themselves are seeing the benefit of the bot creation, of the fact that they can potentially have a bit of an input, because they're the front line. They're going to be the people that get the calls in, and they're the people to ask, as well as looking at the data, but they're the people to ask, well, what can we automate? Start small, build on those, get the right people, get people looking at bots that will get the value out of the bots, and get some sponsors in there as well that can see, oh, I fully support these people building automation bots. And let it just organically grow like that. That's what we did here. And, you know, our main problem we wanted to solve was to reduce remote controlling our fee earners' machines. That was a big anxiety sticking point. That's what we wanted to achieve, and we've been able to achieve that by doing automation bots. But yeah, start simple, have a play around. They're really easy. Even I can create them, and I'm not the biggest bot builder. Look, so then the plans for Gilbert+Tobin next. We've created bots. We're using them successfully. The next stage is probably to get some user interaction. So have using AI to potentially get a user to interact with a bot that will then recommend, you have this problem, we need to now run these automation bots on your machine. So a sort of a self-service element, which we're not currently doing. That's the next sort of step for us that we've identified will create our next evolution in the user experience. If you're on the fence about bots, I would say this. If you're sick of doing repetitive tasks manually, automation bots are the way to go. They've saved us time undertaking laborious, repetitive tasks and enable us to free up our tech teams to get into a bit more interesting work. So that's that. They've helped us on our customer experience journey, and hopefully they can help others do the same.